This game is alright. If I could give it a bigger meh, I really would, but honestly this game left so little of an impact on me, that's the only thing I can say. It's alright. Syndicate is the latest Assassin's Creed title, and I'll start off by saying I am not a fan of the series. I played 1, 2, and 3 and didn't like either of them at all, and the next time I tried the series was Black Flag. Not gonna lie, I fucking loved that game. And then of course Unity happened and I cried. So anyway, for a comeback after Unity, how does this game fare? Well, like I said, it's alright, but it's hard to conjure words to describe it. Well, I'll say this first, is it as buggy as Unity? Thankfully not even slightly. I only encountered a wall clipping glitch and one cutscene where characters disappeared within the first 10 minutes of gameplay, but after about 15 plus hours of total play, those were the only things that I encountered, thank fuck. But for everything else, well, the gameplay is fine. Travelling around my favourite period of history, Victorian London, is enchanting, and especially thrilling when travelling by a carriage and when darting across the Thames from a zipline. Great stuff. The mission structure is solid, the upgrading and purchasing systems are plentiful and rewarding, the quests are fun to complete if lacking in variety, the stealth is alright if a little stiff in some places, especially with the third person aiming, fuck that shit is horrible to control, and the combat is very fun and challenging when in large groups, and things like the gang recruitment mechanic on the fly is very cool and gives you a much broader way to tackle any mission. The thing is though, I have issues literally everywhere else. This isn't the biggest or most graphically heavy game I've ever seen on PS4, yet it runs very choppily in loads of places. The characters I actually rather enjoy, but the story they're a part of is so fucking bad. Nothing that happens carries any impact. The virtual world plot is slow and boring with bad guys that barely do fucking anything to justify being bad guys, side quest plots that suck and lead absolutely nowhere at all, loads of uninteresting events with terrible pacing that makes your gang recruiting and takeover of London feel shallow and ultimately for nothing because the game makes no effort to make you give a shit or give you a natural sense of increasing strength and progression, and that wouldn't be so bad except the real world plot is even worse, with even more uninteresting events and no developed characters whatsoever. Yawn. As a whole though, the entire game just makes me feel like Assassin's Creed is getting tired now. Everything you do in this game is so by the numbers that it really pulls you out of the experience. There's barely any imaginative or creative ideas here whatsoever for Assassin's Creed standards, and especially since Black Flag did so much awesome shit brilliantly, even though enjoyable, Syndicate is definitely a step down as far as I'm concerned. It just does everything by checklist, so much to a point of feeling like a near pointless entry that exists just because, well, we need a new Assassin's Creed game, right? But don't get me wrong, it's still fun. I have synced a good few hours into it, and I do have a soft spot for the awesomely recreated world design of my favourite time period ever, not to mention this is so much better than Unity, but if you're looking for fresh ideas, a great story, and any innovation, you won't find it here. If you're an Assassin's Creed fan, I'm sure that the gameplay alone will give you a decent enough fix, but I'm sure that even veteran fans would find the characters and story far too boring to give a single shit about. If you're jumping into the series though, I wouldn't go with this one. Don't start with this one. It's got far too many flaws for me to highly recommend, and there are better games in the series like Black Flag, for instance. But other than that, it's a decent bit of fun, so that's something.